Namaskar, Dilip Singh Advocate. Welcome to my channel, Legal Outlook by Dilip Singh. Let me share you one case with you. Mr. Gupta is a government officer and he lives in a government accommodation. He has his retirement after 4 years. He 4 years, and so he mobilizes his resources because he was living in a government accommodation, and he wants to buy a flat for himself so that he can save after the retirement. So he buys a flat, and on suggestion of his friend, he gives that flat on rent to a person, and he gets a rent deed prepared by a typist in the court compound and get it signed. And after his retirement, his real ordeal starts when the tenant refuses to vacate, and there is a landlord and tenant dispute. The litigation follows, and after 2.5 years, he gets the possession of the flat, and he shifts to his flat. After 1 year, just on last Sunday, Mr. Gupta calls me and he asks me that his son has a flat, and his son is posted in Mumbai, and so he wants to give that flat on rent. So, what safeguards he should take so that in future should be no chance of landlord tenant dispute. And he also wants to know about the concept of the adverse possession in case of property. So the question arises, how to avoid the landlord tenant disputes. Honestly speaking, as I suggested to Mr. Gupta, there is no foolproof safeguards. But yes, the disputes can be avoided or minimized. The first safeguard comes to my mind is that a proper screening of financial solvency and past incidents of tenants is necessary. Recently, I read an article by a British attorney, Bezede, and he emphasized specifically that proper screening must be done by the landlord. It is better to get in touch with the previous landlord of that tenant to know about his payment schedule and the repair and maintenance of the premises and the other things about himself. Even the landlord should not shy away to ask the financial or bank statement of the tenant which he was paying regularly the rent to his previous tenant. The second step I would suggest that get two two sound references of the tenant, because in the case of if the references are good, then there hardly will be any trouble at the time any dispute arises, and sometimes the good office of those references can be used for the mediation purposes if that is dispute arises. The third safeguard which I suggested, that the landlord must prepare a detailed inventory of the tenanted premises with photographs. I specifically emphasize on the photographs taken, and a countersign should be taken on the photographs by the tenant so that there should not be any dispute regarding the quality and the place of those goods and the inventories. Fourth safeguard, I suggested that the regular inspections should be done by the landlord to the tenanted premises, and there must be a specific clause in the lease deed signed between the parties that landlord or his or her representative would be visiting on a quarterly or half yearly basis to the tenanted premises. And I would suggest the landlord, if any damage is seen by him in the inspection of that tenanted premises, he immediately make a written communication with the tenant, because this will be a proof of the communication will be a proof of the damages if it is not done then, and if it is at the time of possession is being taken by that back by the landlord. So this I specifically emphasize for the written communication. The fifth safeguards which I said, that there must be a liquidated damage for the stay beyond the lease period written in the lease deed, because if after the expiry of the lease period, if the tenant does not vacate, so for every day he has to pay the occupation and damages, such as if it is suitable, then 1000 rupees or 2000 rupees per day provision should be in the lease deed. The next safeguard is that Proper timely notice of termination of tenancy should be given after an intention is made by the landlord to terminate the vacancy, terminate the tenancy. So is a notice under 106, under section 106 of Transport or Property Act must be given timely. The seventh step which I suggest that proper documentation or a well drafted lease agreement should be opted by the landlord, because normally the cut and paste and the lease deed prepared by a typist does not suit the specific need in every case. So a professional should be consulted and everything should be discussed in detail, and thereafter a lease deed should be prepared. Last but not least, I would suggest either it is landlord or tenant, be honest and respect each other. Most of the dispute will be resolved. Following the above 7 steps will help you to minimize or avoid the disputes, but in case of any disputes, it is better to first it should be resorted by the parties to resolve the dispute out of the court, and by one-to-one communication and dialogue between the parties. And if it does not work, then the second step, the help of mediator should be taken and the mediation should be opted, because nowadays in every court compound there is mediation cell, and even the government is running the mediation cell by the legal authorities, so that should be opted. And even in case if the lease deed provides any provision for mediation, that is good, or the reference you have taken of the tenant, that can be his good office can be taken for the dispute of mediation of the dispute. Thereafter, if there is a provision of arbitration is made, then the arbitration should be resorted. Before concluding this tenancy concept, a question comes to mind: what is the difference between contractual tenancy and the statutory tenancy? Because these are the two kinds of tenancy. What we have discussed above, that is contractual tenancy, because that is guided by the contract, lease agreement or lease deed executed between the parties, and terms and conditions provided there are very specific to regulate the relations between the parties. And this contractual tenancy is governed by Indian Contracts Act and Transfer of Property Act. The statutory tenancy, which is covered by the Rent Control Act passed by the state legislature, and it is different in different states. For example, in Delhi it is known as the Delhi Rent Control Act, and where the monthly rent of a premises is less than 3,500, then it is governed by this. And even the relations between the parties and the specific grievances redressal system is provided in the statute, such as for eviction one has to go on the ground of non-payment of rent, subletting, misuse of property, damage to the property, bona fide need. So on these grounds you can. Another important issue is in between the relation of the landlord and tenant is the advance taken by landlord, because it creates a problem at the time of payment, because which is to be returned subject to the terms of tenancy of clearance of statutory dues, bills of electricity, water, or any agreed or contractual uh, duties or payments. For confidence in the tenancy, this amount should be deposited by the landlord in a fixed deposit in a bank, and that should be a part of the lease agreement. In Britain, I would like to share one information that in Britain there is a statutory provision about this advance taken and refundable deposit taken by the landlord, and there is a government approved scheme that is known as tenancy deposit scheme, which was started on 6th of April 2007, and thereafter any advance taken by a landlord is deposited there. However, there is no such scheme in India, but with time it may come. Why I suggested above that the landlord should deposit this amount of fixed deposit, because that will create a confidence between the parties. I have given you a general view about it. So, in case of any dispute, if you are having any problem, you kindly write to me. My email ID is in the description section, or you can write your issues in the in the comment section of this video. Now, before I conclude, let me reply you the second question of adverse possession asked by Mr. Gupta. So, what is the adverse possession? In simple words, it can be said that a person is in possession of a property against the will of the real owner and with his knowledge, and it is in his knowledge. So this is called adverse possession. To mature this adverse possession as a right, it must be continuous and uninterrupted for 12 years in case of private properties and for 30 years in case of estate property. There is a basic law that is settled that any person who is in settled position, so to settled possession of a property, cannot be disturbed or evicted without the due process of law. Recently, Supreme Court passed an important judgment in case of Ravinder Kaur Grewal versus Manjeet Kaur, where a new interpretation is given to the adverse possession, and that is different from what was given by Supreme Court in 2014 in case of Gurdwara Sahib versus Gram Panchayat Village Sartha. In 2014, the court specifically told about that the land that a the right of the right to an advocate, the right to the tenant accrues through the adverse possession can be taken as a defense, but it cannot be taken as a to assert and go to the court as a plaintiff for the declaration of ownership. So it can be summed up that the decision wants that the owner of the property should be vigilant to his or her right, and it should not sleep over the right for a the right for a longer period, and otherwise then it will be hit by the section article 65 of the limitation act, which provides for a limitation of 12 years. Thereafter, that remedy to get the possession of the sued property de extinguishes for the landlord. So I have discussed the issue in a very simple words to make the you proper understanding about the disputes between the tenant and landlord and tenant. Hope you enjoyed this journey. If you have, share your views about this video, and about share your problems in the comment section or in my email ID. I'll be happy to discuss your problem and share the legal information. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please share this video with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel Legal Outlook by Dilip Singh if you have not subscribed, and please press the bell icon so that it can be notification can reach to you at the time of the upload of the fresh video. Thank you very much. Namaskar.